Hey y'all, this is Lydia. I'm gonna pull some cards from the Sacred Geometry Activations deck, and at the bottom we have Romantic Love. This card has been coming up a lot lately, and it's interesting too because we have Juno, which is the love asteroid, the marriage asteroid, with Saturn, Venus, and Mars. And Venus and Mars is a creation energy. Saturn is a grounding energy that brings things down into reality and gives things a reality check it needs in order to be able to have the strength and the foundation and the structure in order to thrive. And this is amazing creative potential energy. It's, also love energy, but at the same time, Juno is also what we sing at. It's what we come into this life just being able to do without necessarily trying. You could say it's the asteroid of talents. And Juno in Aquarius is that creative energy of being able to attract what you need, being able to alchemize energy and to morph it into things that serve us and serve you. And it's really magical energy, and it's otherworldly energy. It's multidimensional, it's futuristic and forward looking, it's innovative. So we're talking about awesome creative potential for grounding things in and to bring our ideas into a material or even perhaps even a tangible expression within ourselves if it's a personal adjustment or creation we're working on, like how we operate or our thought patterns. And this new moon in Aries is highlighting our core wounds. It's highlighting our instability issues, but at the same time, we're being called not to focus on what we're dissatisfied with or what hasn't been working or I can't believe it's so long and I've only gotten this far energy. But we're being reminded that by accepting where we are in life, we always open ourselves up into making choices that serve us and interrupting patterns that aren't working for us. And this is amazing energy that really can be looked over if we're too caught up in our wounds and our hurts and what isn't working. We're not asked to ignore those things, but we're also asked, instead we're asked to accept them and also to really not focus on them in the sense of letting them bog us down, and to really start taking what we've learned up to this point and putting it to constructive use so that we can move forward and so that we can thrive. And with all the energy that's on, half the zodiac within the gates of the nodes, we're not allowed to skip any steps right now. So if we're trying to, take on too much, we might feel ourselves being pulled back as well. The energies will thaw even more, things will speed up even more, but at the same time, we're asked to really consider what needs to happen in order to sustainably move forward and to really have that structure we need in order to thrive. So if we're playing games or if we're going into old self-sabotage or over-optimistic behavior, that's the other side. There's the over-pessimistic and then there's the over-optimistic in the sense of, yeah, this isn't really realistic at this point. We need to work on X, Y, and Z first. Like if you have a fear or something that always bogs you down and you're trying to create something beyond that, first you have to deal with those fears and to work with those fears and to even develop a relationship with them so that they're not in the steering wheel, because really fears don't ever go away. So romantic love at the bottom of the deck. So highlighting perhaps, love that's coming in for some of us, or reigniting love in existing relationships, and also having this love for ourselves. And if we are trying to attract love in right now, creating that space for someone to enter and not having the space always filled, because that actually slows things down. But for the pull, we have the sacral chakra. So creative expression, also emotional expression, also not allowing our emotions to bog us down right now. The frequency of the sacral chakra, the orange flower of life, supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates our creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. And clarifying, we also have universal love. The frequency of universal love activates the connection we feel to each other, to our planet, and to the whole of existence itself. And these two are beautiful together. And that theme of love is coming up as well. This Aries energy is the I am consciousness, so it is dealing with self-love and how we love ourselves, and also how that would play into the type of partner we would attract in, or how our partner treats us based on how we view and treat ourselves. And there's been a major theme too of our true self coming to the fore and us shedding filters and shedding density and weight from the past and past experiences as things that define us, but rather things that we can now take as lessons that we learned and tools that we've gathered along the way in order to take it in constructive ways into the future, but not allowing it to attach to our identity necessarily. And the sacral chakra, again, it deals with our creativity. It deals with our ability to express what we want, to express our desires, and to really, be open and honest, not only with ourselves, but with others about what we need and what we want to create in the long term, and also how we want to create our lives. This is also the full expression of our lives and how it feels on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis, and how we navigate moments and situations. And two, with this Aries energy, we're letting go of old ways, our ego, which is automatically react or respond to things. And we're rewriting the script on how we can shift those things in order to be a higher expression of who we are. And this comes with being active in our creative process and what we feel we are capable of creating, and being in that love consciousness in order to really tap into that generative, expansive feeling, to really bring things into the material world and into our experiences that is worthwhile, that makes us feel vibrant, that makes us feel like we have what we desire, and that we can also attain what we desire if we really commit to stepping into that full creative potential. And love is everything. Love is where we begin when we begin to manifest. First we love, then we feel, and then we believe, then we belong, and then we have the idea, then we have the thought. Love is the very root of manifestation. And when we start there, we have the ability to manifest with some staying power instead of things that are perhaps finite that we can't hold on to. And this is also playing into, again, how we love ourselves and how that attracts love into our lives. And perhaps with Juno, with Saturn, we're thinking about what we want in our love lives as well. And behind that, we have authority, which is another element to this new moon, because it's in the 21st gene key, dealing with our control issues and how our ego plays into that. And also tapping into our inner authority and our ability to know what's best for us, and our ability to know how to steer our own ships and to steer our own lives, and our ability to create. The frequency of authority reminds us that true authority is powerful, directed, and realized, yet receptive, wise, and loving. So the 21st gene key I've been reading about, it's interesting because it is this idea of an authority not being someone who is above others, but authority in the sense of being a leader that is with people, that also recognizes that everyone has a role to play. And the person who is directing that, and being in the authoritative position isn't someone who is above others, but someone who's also working in tandem with others, who understands that it's a relationship that happens. And it's a relationship that is important. There is no leadership without others. So on one hand, we're asking to lead ourselves. On the other hand, we're also being asked to really tap into how we can be a leader in our lives, how we can be a leader in our collective reality, and to really tap into that from a loving, divine feminine in balance with the divine masculine perspective of, there's no hierarchy here. Everyone has a role to play, and everyone is valuable, and everyone is part of a whole, and that we're all connected. So feels like a loose end. Let's pull one more to wrap up the reading. Synergy. And it's funny too, in the 21st gene key, they talk about synergy, this idea of everyone being part of a whole, and everyone sort of like a web instead of a hierarchy as in a ladder. It's this web and this interconnectivity. And the leadership isn't necessarily someone who is above anyone else, but who works with others in being able to direct, again, and to direct things into realization, and can help in that way, and to also be part of it in the sense of, being a nurturing force and one who sacrifices in order to lead. And synergy, the frequency of synergy supports our allowance and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting co-creations can give birth to a new reality. And co-creation is a good word for it. It's this idea of we're also not creating in a vacuum. And so it's important that we know what we desire and are able to express it, but not get caught up in the I am Aries consciousness in the sense of my needs are the only one, but my needs and also the needs of others. So this idea also of acknowledging that we're never creating alone. We're creating not only for ourselves, but what we bring to the world is what impacts the world. And what we put our energy into is what uploads that energy into the collective consciousness, and that we're all connected, right? The flower of life, we're all connected. And to really take creative accountability for that and be in our leadership in that by really being accountable for where we put our energy, what we create, and how we navigate. And that Aries energy is bold. It's a leader energy. It wants us to be, impulsive in our creations and to really go out and be expressive in that, but not expressive at the expense of others, but expressive as a contribution to the whole. So that feels like more of a whole reading. So I'll end it there. I hope this message resonates. I'm sending love and wishing you well. Bye.